the site of the largest drag race on the eastern seaboard. This is beautiful Raceway Park near Englishtown, New Jersey. Over 300 acres of facilities catering to over 60,000 spectators at the Summer Nationals. Hello everybody, I'm Dave McClelland and I'll be at trackside calling the racing action of this 10th annual event. Bringing you the color, excitement, and all the stories from the pit area and the finish line will be our good friend and associate, Steve Evans.
Dave, it's hot and it's humid, but nobody seems to care. Thousands of people roaming the pits here, watching the racers make final preparation for eliminations. The track conditions couldn't be any better. 12 of the 16 top fuelers in the fives. The Snake, the Mongoose, Shirley Muldowney, Big Daddy, they're all here for the Summer Nationals, the race the entire Eastern Seaboard has been looking forward to.
Thank you, Steve. There's some $300,000 in cash and contingency awards posted for this event. We'll be back with the start of racing in just a moment. All forms of transportation being used to take the lovely ladies to their grandstand seats for the start of racing here at the Summer Nationals. We're kicking things off with Top Fuel Eliminator, the fastest accelerating cars in all of drag racing. Of course, drag racing is a contest of acceleration, pitting two cars side by side over a measured quarter of a mile from a standing start. These Top Fuel dragsters, the long, slender machines with the huge rear tires in the back, their engines producing some 2,000 horsepower. This is Larry Dixon. He has the unenviable task of meeting Big Daddy Don Garlits, the man who's synonymous with Top Fuel racing. He's been doing it for over 20 years from Sefner, Florida. He calls himself the Swamp Rat. This is the first round of Top Fuel Eliminator here at the Summer Nationals. A great start by Dixon. Garlits smokes the tires, loses traction momentarily, but comes back to win it by a Carling and a fine time, 5.97 seconds. His speed over 246 miles an hour. As we watch it again in instant replay, you see Garlits losing traction. You see the advantage at the starting line that Dixon seemed to have gained, but it all went for naught as Garlits goes past him to win at the finish line by approximately a car length. At the starting line, Bruce Hagstad now driving for Larry Frazier out of Denver, Colorado, getting set to go against the defending Top Fuel world champion, Kelly Brown from Calabasas, California. Brown himself changing rides over his world champion ride of a year ago. Now wheeling the over-the-hill gang car, and Brown is late. Hagstad is right on time with a big advantage off the starting line. And it's Bruce Hagstad, an even bigger margin of victory at the finish, 5.93 seconds. His speed, 238 miles an hour. But listen to this, the losing time for Kelly Brown, 5.99 seconds. He ran 245 miles an hour trying to catch Bruce Hagstad. As we look at it again, you can see the whole shot. That's the starting line advantage, definitely going to Bruce Hagstad. Let's join Steve Evans with Kelly Brown.
You fouled at the Spring Nationals, the last event. Did that have anything to do with maybe you were a little more conservative?
Probably back in your mind somewhere that could be a contribution to that, but I don't think so. I practiced on the lights out here in qualifying and was right on, so I don't know what happened there, but it's something that's unfortunate, and I feel bad about it, but we have to go on, you know.
Side-by-side, 5-second elapsed times with Bruce Hagstad the winner. This is Dave Uhara against Bob Noyce. This is the car that carried Kelly Brown to his World Championship last season, driven this year by Bob Noyce, the Winter Nationals champion. Here is Dave Uhara. Velasco, Cohen, and Oswald is the team. They call themselves the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. They're out of Santa Clara, California. A great start by both drivers, a slight advantage maybe to Noyce. At the finish line, it's Dave Uhara coming around him with another 5.92 second elapsed time. His speed at the finish line, 245 miles an hour. A close race as Bob Noyce ran 6 seconds flat. Again, that's the time it takes to cover that quarter of a mile from a standing start. So little difference at the finish line as Uhara wins it by about a half a car length. Two former world champions, Shirley Muldowney against Richard Tharp. Tharp at the wheel of the Candice and Hughes dragster. Shirley has had lots of problems in qualifying, primarily in the engine department. She hopes she's got them ironed out for this event, as Richard Tharp has qualified exceptionally well. The Candice and Hughes car making lots of horsepower, running consistently over 245 miles an hour, making it one of the fastest cars in all of drag racing. A good start by both drivers, with Richard Tharp pulling away quickly at the start and even further at the finish line. It's Tharp 5.94 seconds, and thus far the fastest speed of the meet at 247 miles an hour, as he brings the Candice and Hughes car to a bouncing halt. Shirley running a very quick 6.08 seconds. Her speed was 242 miles an hour. As we watch again, Richard Tharp gaining the advantage quickly off the starting line. He continues to extend his lead till he wins it big at the finish. Tharp headed back to the pits to get the car ready for the next round of racing at the Summer Nationals, as Connie Kalita taking a look over into the opposing lane. See if his competitor Johnny Abbott is ready to approach the staging lights. They nod at each other and say yes, they are. The concentration on the Christmas tree starting device, as Johnny Abbott of Denver, Colorado, driving now for Jake Coughlin out of Columbus, Ohio, takes on Connie Kalita. Electronic starting device known as the Christmas tree goes green. Both cars shaking a lot, jumping all over the track in the middle of the course. It's Johnny Abbott by about a car length at 6.16 seconds. His speed 243 miles an hour. Kalita trailing at a 6:21, very close. As you see, both drivers having their hands full, using up a goodly portion of their lanes as they head down that quarter mile for the finish line, with Abbott about a car length ahead.
Johnny Abbott debuting a brand new car here at the Summer Nationals, and John, it shook violently.
Very bad, Steve.
Were you tempted to just throw in the towel there?
Yeah, but I was still ahead, and so I shifted and got it straightened out, and I saw him there, and then the car just pulled right away from him.
How's your vision when the car is shaking that hard?
Can't see. Couldn't see a thing.
You must be pleased with the new mount, though. It's tough debuting a new car in the middle of the season.
Right. Well, I'm real happy with it. We just got a few things to work out to the way I drive, because I drive the car a little different, and so the clutch, we're just not on the clutch yet.
Two-time national champion, former world champion Gary Beck coming back into his own, bringing out the car that carried him to so many victories. He was low qualifier here a year ago and was runner-up at the Summer Nationals, racing against Bill Pryor, driving for Jim Naramore. This is Top Fuel Racing first round. The 2,000 horsepower engines behind the drivers, encased in their roll cage assemblies. Beck qualifying very well again at this race. Tremendous first round racing thus far. A number of 5-second elapsed times, and Beck off on a good run. Bill Pryor getting very close to the outer extremity line, but another 5-second elapsed time as Gary Beck, 5.95 seconds at over 242 miles an hour, defeats Bill Pryor. Here, let's watch as Pryor heads dangerously close to the grass surface off the racing area. Let's go again to Steve.
You were a low qualifier here last year, made it to the finals. Are you running the same combination? Do you just go back in your logbook and duplicate it?
Well, we did, certainly. We had to make a little different application to the racetrack with the clutch, but the engine's running virtually the same, and the track's awful good this year all the way. You know, this is why all the qualifiers have run the 580s is because it's a 1320 racetrack this year, and it takes a lot of horsepower, and it's hard on the engines in the last 100 feet.
Jeb Allen, the defending champion at this Summer Nationals. He won it way back in 1972 when he was only 18 years of age. It's against Bobby Hilton, driving for Jim and Allison Lee. Hilton at the wheel of one of the more unique machines in all of drag racing, this semi-full-bodied, semi-streamliner car of the Lees. Jeb Allen, a more conventional rear-engine top-fuel dragster. The defending champ gets a break in this round as Bobby Hilton, something goes wrong with the Jim and Allison Lee car. He coasts the sleek, streamlined machine across the finish line. Jeb Allen not hurting those parts in the last 100 feet. He only records a 6.13 second elapsed time, but he gets the all-important win as Bobby Hilton breaks.
Well, this Englishtown event has got to be Jeb Allen's favorite. You won it when you were just 18, and you won it again last year, Jeb.
Yeah, and we was in the final round 2 other times besides that. So I just, I'm hoping for another win this weekend. The car shook that time, but I think we can overcome it. We got Kelly Brown out of the race. Everything's working just right. We're not trying to run 580. We're just trying to win.
The youngest driver in history to win an NHRA championship, that was Jeb Allen just a few years ago right here.
The final 2 cars in this unbelievably close first round of Top Fuel racing. It's Frank Bradley against Dave Settles, wearing one of the new Darth Vader-style helmets. Settles is driving the new Blue Max Top Fuel dragster. That's right, a Top Fuel car now joining Raymond Beadle's Blue Max funny car. And the Blue Max Top Fuel car with Settles, the #1 qualifier here at the Summer Nationals, has astounded Top Fuel racers by recording a string of 5-second elapsed times since its debut about a month and a half ago, and another great run for Settles. He wins at 5.82 seconds at 234 miles an hour, bringing an end to one of the closest first rounds of Top Fuel racing seen in quite a while. With over 600 cars starting qualifying at the Summer Nationals, the fields are getting smaller, as unique to championship drag racing, when you lose, you can leave. The single elimination round tournament in the first round of funny car racing saw an exciting race between Don Prudhomme and Ron Colson driving the Hawaiian of Roland Leong. This was a rematch of the 1978 race, which saw Ron Colson defeat Don Prudhomme. Both drivers very intent on the Christmas tree starting system. The Hawaiian against the Snake. A great start by both cars, side by side. And for the second year in a row, Ron Colson defeats Don Prudhomme 6.28 seconds to a very close but quicker 6.26 seconds. That's right, the Snake a little bit quicker than Colson, but he was just a few seconds late off the starting line. Let's go to the finish line and Steve Evans.
Very discouraged, Don Prudhomme, Dave. Down here, really appeared to have a handle on it. Snake qualified low at 6:09. What happened?
It got through the middle of the track and it wanted to drop a cylinder, and then it picked it up again. It was too late. He got out ahead of me there, and it was over.
Who would you pick of those that remain?
I don't know. I don't know.
The harsh reality of losing etched on the face of Don Prudhomme, 4-time world champion, first-round loser at the Summer Nationals. Picking up action in the second round of Funny Car Eliminator, there's Trip Shoemake inside Johnny Loper's funny car. You see the driver encased in the roll cage, and right at his feet, the 2,000 horsepower nitro-burning engine. One of the great dangers for funny car racers is fire. We've watched Trip Shoemake before on the Diamond P Sports coverage of championship drag racing, as he's experienced fire in Johnny Loper's funny car. His competition is Tom McEwen, but he's nowhere to be seen as Shoemake gets ready for his burnout. McEwen recording a very quick elapsed time in round #1, but thus far has not made any effort to show for this second round of eliminations. Let's go back now into the pits and see if Steve can tell us why.
Dave, as Trip Shoemake accepts his gift here in the second round, Tom McEwen by his car, which apparently is just not able to run.
Right, Steve. Well, we ran Lloyd T the first round, 6:15, and then I thought everything was really finally coming around. We burned a piston, and it hurt the rod and spun a bearing and ripped the crank, and even with all the help from all my friends, we're out of parts, so this is as far as we can go for now.
A tough break for Tom McEwen, but a great one for Trip Shoemake, as the extreme close competition here at the Summer Nationals, and he takes advantage of it. He does not run the car all the way through, shuts it off very early, and just idles it through to save the wear and tear on the very expensive parts and pieces. The engine's now going for approximately $16,000 to $17,000, and soaking up some of that famed New Jersey sunshine. Two lovely ladies just watching Trip coast by and head back into the pits to get ready for the semifinals. The Blue Max funny car, Raymond Beadle at the wheel against Dale Paldy and the fabulous War Eagle. The burnouts using the water where they smoke the tires completely. Both cars now just doing their dry burnouts, making sure that the traction is there for these highly volatile funny cars. The gorgeous car of Dale Paulding. It's hard to believe, but the entire grille and headlight assemblies on these fiberglass cars just painted on by artists across the country, and a great start by both drivers. And it is Raymond Beadle, it appears, and it is Beadle smoking some distance at the finish line, but winning it, matching the qualifying time of Don Prudhomme at 6.09 seconds. The losing time, elapsed time for Dale Paulding, a 6.11. The quickest side-by-side funny car race in the history of the sport of drag racing, and by less than a half a car length, this man, Raymond Beadle, wins it.
That wasn't fair. You weren't supposed to do that.
What did a whip him like I couldn't believe.
Raymond Beadle and Dale Paulding kidding each other down here. That was one of the best funny car runs in years.
Yeah, we left together. I looked over and I missed Dale for a minute, and I run it through the back because I knew Dale would run 240 or better on me. But he didn't pass me. That was good.
May have been low ET at the event, if not very close.
Okay, thank you. We're going to try anyway.
This is going to help a lot in the world point standings.
Yeah, we're looking good now. Snake got knocked out first round, and a little luck's all we need.
Could be all blue in the winner's circle late this afternoon.
That's what we're pulling for.
Raymond Beadle with 2 cars in this event, both doing well.
The jubilation of the win for Raymond Beadle as the next pair of cars, 2 Corvettes, 2 of the best in the country. Tom Hoover, the Showtime in the lane nearest us. Across the way, John Force from Fullerton, California. Hoover is the current world champion points leader, and he needs this win to extend his points lead. But John Force, after having a lot of trouble qualifying, actually making it on his final qualifying attempt on Saturday night, has done exceptionally well, and Hoover smokes the tires. And John Force, not to be headed on this run, wins it. 6.24 seconds, his speed over 231 miles an hour. And after all the work and effort to just make the program, he's doing exceptionally well in elimination. Here was his first round winner over Don Prudhomme, Ron Colson at the wheel of this man's car. You've heard us talk about Roland Leong. Well, this is the Hawaiian himself. The man has owned several national championship cars. This one of his best, the funny car driven by Ron Colson. Alongside of him, Jim Glenn's car, driven by Jim Adolph, doing exceptionally well at the Summer Nationals. But Adolph brakes. Right there you saw it, and it's no problem for Colson. He doesn't take it easy, though. 6.27 seconds. His speed, 230 miles an hour. As we watch again, we see right at this point the transmission goes away in Jim Adolph's car, giving the win to Ron Colson in the Hawaiian.
Well, Ron, between your excellent driving and a break here and there, round 3 coming up.
Feels good. I thought after that first one, we get the tough one out of the way, we can handle the rest.
That's 2 years in a row that you have hole-shotted your way to victory over Don Prudhomme.
Well, last year I'd call a hole shot. This year was 200ths difference. We just had a little edge, but I'm darn glad it was on our side.
You must really get up when you race the Snake, mentally.
Hot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you're going against somebody like that, more NHRA wins than anybody in history, 4 world championships in a row. If you can't get up for him, you can't get up for anybody.
Here comes Roland and your guys. Good luck in round 3.
Thank you.
David?
Steve, the close racing of the top fuelers accentuated even more by the funny cars. Right now we're ready to go in the second round of Top Fuel Eliminator. The defending champion, Jeb Allen. This is a rematch of last year's final as Gary Beck, losing at that event. As he had mechanical problems, the engine would not start, but this time it's running and running strong against Jeb Allen. Here they're meeting in the second round, the winner advancing into the semifinals. A good start for Jeb Allen. Something goes wrong with Gary Beck, and Allen not to be headed as mechanical problems once again strike Gary Beck out of the show. An elated Jeb Allen waving to the crowd and pounding on the cowl of his car. He heads down to the turnoff area just clapping his hands. Gary Beck, though, not a wave to the crowd or anybody as he's dejected as he heads back into the pits. Jeb Allen climbing out of his car while it's still rolling, giving the thumbs-up sign to the turnaround crew. The twists of fate work strange things in a drag race. Johnny Abbott used to drive this car. At this event, it's driven by Bruce Hagstead. Where is Johnny Abbott today? He is sitting in the cockpit of the unpainted machine owned by Jake Coughlin. So Johnny Abbott running against his former car, driven by Bruce Hagstead. Abbott now at the wheel of the Jake Coughlin entry. A close start by both drivers. A bit of an edge, it appears, to Hagstead. But Abbott not giving up. And it looks like Bruce Hagstead wins it at 6.07 at 234 miles an hour. Let's go back and look at that one again because it's close. Leaving the starting line almost together. You see Abbott trailing a little bit at this point. He tries to pull it out in the last few feet, but it's Bruce Hagstead by a wheel length.
A new face, Dave, on the major event trail, Bruce Hagstead. That was the closest race of the day, I do believe.
Oh, man, I could see his wheels all the way down. I didn't think it was ever going to come around there.
It must be a unique experience having to face the man who occupied this cockpit for so many seasons.
Oh, Johnny and I have been friends for a long time. We wished each other good luck, and it just turned out this way. He's a great guy.
And Johnny didn't even know he'd lost. It must have been very, very close.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, the wheels were just, right next to each other, and our car finally pulled ahead a little bit more there.
See you in round 3. Okay. A Volkswagen dealer from Denver, Colorado, Bruce Hagstead.
The Summer Nationals has been full of interesting matchups, and none more so than this. The grand old man, Don Garlits, looking patiently as Richard Tharp at the wheel of the Candies and Hughes car gets pushed back. Obviously, he got a load of nitro fumes in his helmet. He's having difficulty seeing. He's wiping his eyes with a handkerchief. He waves away Paul Candies, the car owner, still shaking his head. Hopefully he can see. Garlits just watching all this taking place as both cars running very cleanly. Garlits opening the face mask on his helmet to get a breath of fresh air. All this is over with as they approach the staging beams. Garlits against Tharp. And it appears Don Garlits with a bit of a hole shot. And another close race. And listen to these times, 5.91 seconds at 246 miles an hour for Garlits. And we talked about the hole shot, and there was one, as Tharp was just a little bit quicker at 5.90 seconds. His speed, top speed of the meet, 248 miles an hour.
Your impression of the track conditions right now?
It's a little shake out there, just a taste, not bad, especially in this lane. The other lane is the smoothest.
Is it going to take any more horsepower?
I don't know. It's hard to say. We need more. The Fettles is running awful good,
Yeah, and they say that's more like a funny car, Big Daddy. Have you thought of that? Would you consider trying that kind of combination?
No, I don't like that combination.
Well, certainly Big Daddy's won more Top Fuel races than anybody else in drag racing, so if he doesn't like it, what can you say?
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Don.
This is the man they're talking about, Dave Settles, and this is the car. When they talk about the funny car combination, it's the way they run their engines, the compression ratios, the amount of nitromethane, the amount of boost from the supercharged, and the signal goes to Dave Settles. He's going to have an easy one, a bye run, as Dave Uhara at the wheel of the good, bad, and the ugly, climbing out at the starting line instead of the finish line. Something going wrong, giving the single to Dave Settles, and the car everybody's talking about, the Blue Max Top Fuel Dragster. Another super run, a bit of tire shake right off the line, but Settles clicks it to a 5.92 second. His speed, 235 miles an hour. Dave Uhara with a sad wave to the crowd, waiting for his push truck to come move him away.
Performance and luck. That's going to be a tough combination to beat, David.
A good one. We fell off a little bit that time. Shook the tires a little.
On a single run, you could take it easy and save your parts and pieces. You elected not to.
Well, there's a couple of ways of looking at that. One, of course, is saving your equipment, but another is the all-important lane choice at times.
I hate to be the one to tell you this, but Garlits is going to have lane choice by 100th of a second.
Is that right? Well, one day chicken, next day feathers,
How important a factor is that, do you think?
Right now, I don't think it is, but it could be if somebody was to oil the track real bad in front of you, or, that's just the philosophy.
Davey Settles, the Blue Max car, has been the dominant fueler at this event. Never out of the fives.
And we'll be watching it in the semifinals as Dave Uhara heads back to the pits at the Summer Nationals. Recognizing the resurgence in motorcycles, NHRA has formed the National Motorcycle Racing Association. One of its superstars is its current World Pro Stock champion, Terry Vance. Earlier today, Steve talked with Terry.
Terry, most people come here to the Summer Nationals expecting a totally automotive event. But there's an exception, your Pro Stock motorcycles. What kind of reaction do you get from the people when they find you in the pits here?
Oh, well, you know, Steve, the people really love it. They come here and they expect to see a car thing, and they see the motorcycle thing, you know, and most of them have motorcycles at home in the garage, so they come here and they can really associate with these Pro Stock looking bikes. They're stock appearing, and they really kind of root for them, you know, because that's the kind of bikes they ride.
And there's a lot of makes and models involved, kind of like Pro Stock with the automobiles.
Exactly the same thing. They have to be stock appearing motorcycles, and people can relate to them. They see them and they say, that looks exactly like the bike I have, you know, and then it works out pretty well because there's all the major brands here, and people really get into it.
Well, you're a young fella, but you've been racing a lot of years.
Well, yeah, I have. I've been racing since like 1971, as you know, and it's come a long way since the time we did it just on a Wednesday night thing, on a bracket thing, you know, and we'd go out every Wednesday night, kind of practice and get our stuff together, and it's kind of evolved into a pretty big thing.
So it's not a hobby with you?
Oh, no, not at all. It's a job.
Terry Vance, 3-time national champion in the Pro Stock bikes.
And making it to the finals is Vance, riding his GS 1000 Suzuki. He is against Cornwall Heights, Pennsylvania's Bob Carpenter, the low qualifier on his Kawasaki. Running off a Pro Start Christmas tree, one amber light and then the green. Close side-by-side racing between these top-of-the-line motorcycles. Terry says it takes a lot of strength to hold on, but he's watching his competition, Bob Carpenter, get to the finish line first. Carpenter wins it. His elapsed time, 9.04 seconds at over 143 miles an hour. The close Summer Nationals racing taking yet another world champion out of the event. The competition just as close in the 5 sportsman categories. In stock eliminator, it was Ray Cook in the near lane against Jeff Merkel in the far lane. Stock eliminator and super stock judged on a handicap basis based on indexes for the cars. You cannot run quicker than the index, and that's what happened to Jeff Merkel, giving the win to Ray Cook. In super stock eliminator, George Curitan in the near lane gave away the head start to John Heffernan, but Heffernan also falling victim to the index and breakout rule. The winner in the near lane, George Curitan in super stock. The wheel standing Garley Daniels missing a shift into third gear and giving the win to Billy Mansell in the far lane. Competition eliminator for the 4th time in history. One owner had both cars in the final of an eliminator category. Rich DeLisi owned them. In the spectator or far lane is Dennis Ferrara, the winner, Dempsey Hardy, the loser. Pro Comp Eliminator, a heads-up category featuring all types of cars, but 2 dragsters made it to the finals. Joe Amato, winner of the Gator Nationals with a modern type car, the rear-engine dragster. Dale Hall from Granby, Connecticut, a former Grand National champion, driving the older style front-engine dragster with a very small engine, about 350 cubic inches of Chevrolet, almost 500 cubic inches of Hemi in the late model rear-engine dragster, and it's a red light start for Amato, which automatically gives the win to Dale Hall, but Dale gets there first anyway. Amato's wife very disappointed as she saw her husband lose to Dale Hall. The red light at the starting line indicating instant defeat. Watching again, just a few hundredths of a second too quick was Joe Amato.
Dale Hall, congratulations, our Pro Comp champion. You knew you were in tough against Amato. He'd been quicker all day.
Joe's a tough boy to beat. He's excellent. Good driver and consistent. And I'm so happy I can't believe it.
Did you see the red light?
No, I didn't. I don't think Joe knew the red light came on either because he ran the car all the way through, too.
This is only about the 3rd time that a small block Chevrolet has won in a Pro Comp championship.
Well, we won one in '74. Some good friends of ours, Smokey Samlick, won last year, and then we got this one.
Well, congratulations. This front-mounted car is no dinosaur.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back with semifinal racing from the Summer Nationals in just a moment. Drag racers have long been known as creatures of innovation. Nowhere is that more evident than in the best engineered car. Here with that car is Steve Evans.
Overall quality of construction and particularly some notable safety items have earned this AA Fuel Funny Car the Fram Corporation's Best Engineered Car Award here at the Summer Nationals. It's owned by the Tom Ryan Racing Team of Trenton, New Jersey, and the car builders, S&W Race Cars, have come up with a real innovation, a device that vents the fuel tank. Any excess pressure is routed throughout the tubular frame, and it completely eliminates, really, the chance of a fuel tank explosion. Roy Harris has driven the car to one of the top spots in funny car qualifying.
4 cars remain in funny car eliminator. This man, Trip Shoemake, driving for Johnny Loper, pitted against Raymond Beadle in the Blue Max, who has to be the favorite at this moment to make it all the way to the winner's circle. Just 1 round to go. He recorded low elapsed time of eliminations at 6.09 seconds, but he injured the motor. By that, I mean he burned a piston, literally melted one of the aluminum pistons, necessitating a complete teardown between rounds. If the motor is good, look for Raymond Beadle to lay down a good number. Trip Shoemake, of course, had that easy run. He did not have to run it hard, as his competition, Tom McEwen, was unable to make the call for round number 2 in funny car. They're out together. Beadle with a slight head start. He's extending it, and it is Raymond Beadle into the finals, 6.18 seconds, 235 miles an hour. A very happy crew heads down to pick up Raymond Beadle, head back to the pits, and get the car ready for the finals. Beadle will race one of these 2 cars. Ron Colson in the Hawaiian, a bright green Corvette, against the other Corvette in the far lane is John Force. Force, a bit of a surprise to make it this far. He had difficulties qualifying, did a fine job in the previous round in defeating Tom Hoover. Very consistent in the 620s, as has been Colson. Roland Leong, the car owner and crew chief for Colson, noted for making horsepower. Can he stick it to the ground? No, he cannot. Smoking the tires is Colson. And it's all over as John Force streaks to another win. 6.29 seconds. His speed 233 miles an hour. So it will be Raymond Beadle in the Blue Max as John Force wins it right there. Let's join Steve Evans.
John Force, no matter how big the margin, you never seem to know if you won or not.
I never know. Yeah, tired. It left good, but it shook hard. I seen him a nose on me a bit, and then...
You did win. You didn't red light.
It come out of the shake. I didn't know I was cutting that light plenty close, but I figured I needed to get around him. Ran a little better, but I figured I'd still need it because Roland, he knows how to hit it.
Your first year on the Pro Tour and your second final round appearance. You've got to be really happy with yourself.
I love it. I love it out here, and it's kind of a simple deal for me because all I do is kind of keep the sponsors happy and do what they need to make it work, and the rest I got to hand it all to Steve Pluger because he's the guy that makes this whole thing work.
Well, he's going to have to find a 1/10 of a second to race the Blue Max.
Well, leave it to Pluger. He'll figure it out.
John Force going into that final round.
It'll be the crafty veteran Raymond Beadle against the newcomer John Force. The finals of funny car. Right now, though, it's the semifinals of Top Fuel. The man that is the defending champion is Jeb Allen. He is against Bruce Hagstad, who's driving this car for the first time ever in national event competition and has brought Larry Frazier's car from Denver, Colorado, all the way to the semifinal round. Apparently some problems, though, with Jeb Allen's car. They're working on it. Looks like they're working around the injector system, which is located on top of the supercharger. The starting line crew holding, saying, all right, everything's okay, the engine's still running. And it appears there's a rag tied to the injector, which possibly means a very slight fuel leak. One with the driver in front of the car does not provide any hazard to him, but certainly enough to possibly break his concentration. Jeb Allen in the near lane, Bruce Hagstad in the far lane. Hagstad appears out first, but smoking the tires, losing traction, and it is Jeb Allen in the finals. 6.06 seconds, 231 miles an hour, and Jeb is absolutely ecstatic. And there you see the smoke from the tires off of Larry Frazier's car. Bruce Hagstad losing to Jeb Allen. Here again, Steve Evans.
Jeb Allen, what happened on the starting line?
We had a bit of a fuel leak, as you can see, but it evidently didn't hurt things. The car ran fairly well, I think. But do you know what it ran?
606.
606?
You'd have to step up a little bit, huh?
Yeah, well, we'll see here. The air's changed a whole bunch, and the track's starting to roll up, so... Steve, to tell you the truth, I'm damn happy to be in the final.
How many years did this make it? You've made the final?
4 years in a row to be in the final at Englishtown here, where our sponsor English Leather is, and it just couldn't be better for us.
Let's go back to the starting line and see who Jeb Allen will race in the final.
Steve, it will be one of these two men, Big Daddy Don Garlits, probably the most feared man of all of Top Fuel racing, or this, the brand new Blue Max Top Fuel dragster with Dave Settles, former world champion, regarded as one of the finest dragster drivers in the country today. The Blue Max has the edge here by elapsed times. Big Daddy Don Garlits the edge by experience. Let's watch. It's Garlits out in front as they leave the starting line. Can Settles catch him? Can he come from behind? And he does. Both Blue Max cars in the final. A resounding 5.85 second elapsed time. The fist in the air saying to the assembled multitude, I beat Big Daddy. As we look at it again, we see Settles side by side with Garlits and just beginning to pull away as they near the finish line. Let's go down to Steve Evans, who's with Don Garlits.
Don Garlits checking out a flat front wheel. Boy, you were in it all the way, though.
Yeah, it threw it off in the running the lights.
This has to go down as one of the hardest fought Top Fuel fields in a long time.
Pretty tough, there's no doubt about it. Been good hard runs, all of them side by side.
12 of the 16 qualifiers in the fives, that hasn't happened in a long, long time.
No, it hasn't. It seems that the guys are, working on it a little harder than they were for a while. It's tiring.
It's tiring, says Big Daddy.
After 4 hard days of racing, all that's left at this 10th annual Summer Nationals is the finals in the professional categories of championship drag racing. Not very many cars, but a lot of spectators jammed into this 300-acre facility. Here's Dave Settles' car, the crew hard at work. You see the supercharger off the engine. They're putting it back together after going through it. In the funny car pit, a little work on the clutch and the transmission. Steve's down there with both drivers.
Blue trailers, blue trucks, blue cars. Obviously, this is the camp of the Blue Max. Raymond Beadle goes into the final in funny car. Dave Settles in Top Fuel. Raymond, the condition of your car.
Well, right now, we're changing motors, putting a brand new one in for the final, which we don't like to do, but we would have changed it last run. We had a head stud pull out, so the motors are identical, so we think we still have just as good a chance.
And your car, David?
Well, we're running the same engine we've been running for the 3 races that the car has been competing at, and just keeps on running. We change a couple of pistons to run, and that's about it. It's just performing flawlessly.
Must feel good to have a mount that's only 3 weeks old, looking for maybe its second victory here, and everybody's talking about it.
It feels great. From a driver's standpoint, you got the power to go out there and drive around people.
The man that's going to try to stop that is Jeb Allen, the defending champion. The crew hard at work in the heat and humidity that has taken its toll on many a mechanic and driver here at the Summer Nationals. In John Force pit area, final preparations underway. The oil being poured into the engine, preparatory to the supercharger being put on. But before we get to the finals in Top Fuel and Funny Car, this is Pro Stock. The final round, Frank Iaconio at the wheel of the Chevrolet. He is matched against the man that has dominated the Pro Stock circuit, Bob Glidden, at the wheel of his Plymouth Arrow, carrying the world champion's big number 1. Both cars into the staging beams, and a red light start for Glidden. Iaconio, the winner, the crowd stunned into disbelief for the second time in a row at a major NHRA championship. Bob Glidden, red lights away. Overcome with excitement, the fans and officials just cannot believe that Frank Iaconio from Totowa, New Jersey, the hometown boy, defeats Bob Glidden in the final. The red lights start, giving the win automatically to Iaconio. Concentration so hard on the Christmas tree, he is still in disbelief that he won the race as he gets out of his car, the turnaround area here at Raceway Park. The finals of Funny Car Eliminator. Some $10,000 up for grabs here to the winner. This man, John Force, had difficulty even making the program. It took his final qualifying attempt late on a Saturday evening just to make this very tough 16-car show. And believe it or not, here he is in the final. But it's not going to be an easy final because he's running the car that has to be the heavy favorite, the Blue Max. He's dominated the racing as Raymond Beadle has driven this car to low elapsed time of eliminations at 6.09 seconds, matching the low qualifying time of Don Prudhomme. So John Force, in his first year on the circuit, is into the finals for the second time. He has yet to win the big one. Raymond Beadle, runner-up thus far 3 times in '79. He was runner-up at the Winter Nationals, the Spring Nationals, the Mile High Nationals, and as he got a lead here at the Summer Nationals. And it's Raymond Beadle winning the race. His elapsed time somewhat slower at 6.37 seconds than his previous round. But as it goes in drag racing, he got to the finish line ahead of John Force, giving him the big win that moves him into the number 2 place in the World Championship points chase. Let's go to Steve Evans.
Come on, Dave.
Raymond Beadle looking back at the starting line as his top fuel car is preparing to race. But Beadle, congratulations, 20-car champion.
Thank you a whole bunch. We smoked the tires there, and I thought for a minute we'd messed up, but we did okay. I told them money held out, luck had come.
And even after you changed the motors, you still had some problems in the pit.
Well, we started up, we had a brand new manifold on it, and it was cracked, so we had to change it. So I guess when it's your day, it's your day.
And the motor change is no longer a jinx.
I hope not. I hope not.
Okay, let's watch as the Blue Max meets Jeb Allen.
The Blue Max top fuel dragster, Dave Settles, the driver, the low qualifier, low elapsed time in eliminations, and again some leakage problems apparently with Jeb Allen's car. We saw it in the semifinals, but this time they've got it fixed. No rags tied around the fuel line. It is Dave Settles trying to make it an all Blue Max final in top fuel and funny car. Both cars possibly into the winner's circle. If he doesn't, it will be the first time in history. Jeb Allen, of course, trying to repeat. He won it last year. Can he do it again? And he does. Dave Settles breaks something right off the starting line. It is Jeb Allen for the 3rd time in his career, the 2nd year in a row, is top fuel eliminator at the Summer Nationals. His elapsed time of 6.17 seconds, only 227 miles an hour. But who needs a 5 when your competition breaks just like Dave Settles did just then? Appeared to be some driveline component. A very happy Jeb Allen.
You may have had 98 in the tank, 98% nitrogen, but you didn't really need it. Something happening to Davey Settles.
No, well, you know, when it's your day, it's your day. We've run the race all weekend. We've made the car run good. We've picked our racer we had to race with. We went up against him with what we were doing, just played it safe, you know. And you get a break when you win a race, and that was our break right there.
You must come to Englishtown with a tremendous amount of confidence, as well as you've done here.
Well, we came here just last week, the best we could get the car. Well, matter of fact, in 7 months, the car hasn't run 5 seconds until this very weekend. And I try to keep that ball rolling all year, and it's awful tough. It's enthusiasm. It's a sport. We need more competition, or not more competition. We need to be more competitive. I don't know. We need to keep it following it all year long, you know.
A pumped up Jeb Allen, Davis. He wins the top fuel title, and he looks back to those years. This was the first race he ever won in an NHRA competition when he was just 18. Jeb Allen, our champion.
An excited Jeb Allen receiving the plaudits of his crew, a hug from his lovely wife, as the Allen family, about $10,000 more in their pocket as the winners of this Summer Nationals. Steve and I will be back in just a moment. The record-breaking crowd of over 61,000 people treated to some of the most exciting racing at this Summer Nationals. Steve, what's your thoughts?
All in all, Dave, it was not a good day for the old guard here at Raceway Park in New Jersey. All 3 world champions from last year, Glidden, Prudhomme, Kelly Brown, did not make the final rounds. It was a great day, however, for the new cars and the new stars who came so close. Davey Settles in the Blue Max dragster, John Force in the Wendy's car. They're going to be people to reckon with as the season progresses on the NHRA World Championship trail.
And for Steve Evans, this is Dave McClellan saying so long from Englishtown, New Jersey.